Late night Copecast. What's he
Back
doing?
then in 2010, literally everyone laughed their asses off at it. They were like, wow, it's hilarious. Silly racist comments that were made. But of course, everyone knows Darksydephil's not serious. Today, out of context, you probably watch that countdown and be like, oh my God, DSP and his friends are a bunch of horrible racist people, right? That's the thing. Like, in context versus out of context, things are very different. So now I look back and I'm like, you know, in retrospect, as funny as it was at the time, it probably was a stupid decision.
What do you mean a stupid decision? You were openly racist on the internet and you made a best of racist moments compilation.
Because eventually people are going to look at it in the future and not understand it.
I do understand it. You were racist.
And that's exactly what it's been. You know, now people go back to things I did in 2010.
That's not that long ago. It's 14 years now, but it's not like, you know, the dark ages. It's post-millennium. Me and Phil are a similar age. Back in 2010, he would have been like in his late 20s, early 30s. So grown up enough to know what the fuck he's doing.
And act like I did it today. Like, I would never do that shit today. I'm not stupid.
No, obviously you wouldn't do it today because you got banned off fucking Twitch for doing racist, hateful slurs. So you wouldn't do it today.
And I'm not in that mindset because now people would find it offensive.
Right. But as he said in his interview with Side Scrollers, the jokes still pop up in his head, but he self-edits and doesn't say them. So of course you wouldn't say them, but you do think these racist things still because you are still a racist.
I had no intention of offending anyone with that stuff.
Except all the Chinese people and all the... Don't even start me.
Anyway, yeah, that's what I mean. As I get older, you learn. You know what I'm saying? You absolutely learn from experience. And you change for the better.
Oosh.
And that's what I've done. The content I make today, I don't think anyone's going to say if they find it offensive. You know, maybe the only thing you can find offensive is...
It's you and your gratuitous begging and all of the eggy comments that you make when you're playing Street Fighter about all the things that you get angry about, the way you treat the chat, the way you talk to people, the banning of all the people, there are opinions that come through still to this day that are offensive. The way you treat your wife, the way you treat your cat, the way you... like your sense of entitlement... your humour still is scat humour at best. Scat, like, you know, talking about poops and stuff. I'm sure the list could go on. It's just really late at night.
Me, you know, cracking shit talk against...
He wasn't nasty. Can you believe this? Up, I missed 2 hours. All we've done is talked about boxing. So yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, the only reason I don't leave him up is if we're doing something that's going to upload to YouTube. But he wasn't nasty. He was trying to be funny, but he was doing it at the, like, saying, "Oh, here's a Chinese guy. Do you want some pork fried rice? Look, he's Chinese. Chicky Chang Wang." Like, that's just proper bad racism. Like, Phil nasty. I don't know. Like, he's been nasty to people. Like, you can get a spoon and eat the shit out of my ass. Like, you know, he's been rude and mean as well. Yeah, condescending. Yeah, he's done a lot of bad stuff. Yeah.
Street Fighter players. And if you find that offensive, I mean, you really are. Me, you know, cracking shit talk against Street Fighter players. And if you find that offensive, I mean, you really are a pussy.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry, like...
yeah, cracking shit against Street Fighter players. It's the way, like, you know, he'll be losing a game. He'll be like, "Oh, fuck this game. This is fucking totally unearned. This guy does just a scrub. He's just a scrub player. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just spamming moves, and it's totally unearned. I would have beaten him if it wasn't for this fucking rollback netcode, this bad rollback netcode by..." And like, the people that made the rollback netcode spent a lot of time and money inventing a system so that people could play Street Fighter online, and Phil benefits from it massively. And they like gave it to the community, and he's like, "Fuck these people and their rollback netcode." And like, it is offensive because you're sat on your white privilege ass in this wonderful luxury land because you've had massive luck on the internet, made loads of money, and you're still begging, and you put all the money into WWE champions as well. That's even more offensive. So like, his attitude on the stream as a grown-up like that is gross. So it's not just that he has a pop at people while he plays Street Fighter, or in the past did some ribbing of some Street Fighter people. This is incredible, the way he's describing this.
Offensive, you know, maybe the only thing you can find offensive is me, you know, cracking shit talk against Street Fighter players. And if you find that offensive, I mean, you really are a pussy. I'm sorry, like, if you think that me playing a fighting game and saying you're a horrible person, you're a scrub, you're a button pusher, and you fucking suck, and you should, you're a you know, stupid. Like, why would you get offended at that? It's just dumb shit talk of a fucking video game, right? Everyone does it.
It's not that I'm offended. It's that it's offensive to see you, like, with your thumb up your ass, doing, like, you know, sitting on your hands, basically. You know, when I say that, I'm not trying to make a homophobic slur in any way. God, I have to be careful about what I say these days, don't I? Because people might try to throw things at me. With your thumb up your ass means that you're, like, basically, you know, doing nothing, doesn't it? But at the same time, arguing that you should have lots of money given to you by the people that watch you in your chat, like, and at the same time having a massive temper tantrum as a grown man playing a video game on the internet. It's like, there are people out there working really hard to feed their families, struggling, and you're getting $200 a day for doing that. That's offensive.
And it's always been in fighting games. It used to be,
or expecting $200 a day for doing that.
So required to do that, right? But that's literally the only thing I think you can really watch me do today and actually get, like, offended at what I do, right?
Offended
Outside
at
of
what I
that,
do.
I'm just some chill guy playing games and trying to have a good time with you guys, and that's all it's really about. But, you know, I look back.
I think people were offended when you grifted for a new joystick and it cost you $400, and at the same time your cat went to the vet and the vet said, we think it needs blood work doing. And you said, how much is the blood work? And they said $300. And you said, nah, forget it. It's a cat. Like, you know, if it's poorly, we'll see if it's poorly. And they're like, yeah, but we think it might be poorly, but we need to find out by doing blood work. And he's like, well, if it's poorly, then we'll do the blood work. And like, they're like, no, but we don't know if it's poorly until we do the blood work. And Phil was like, well, I need to buy a joystick, so you can shut up. The cat's coming home. I'm buying the joystick. That was offensive to me. The idea that you would value that joystick over your cat's health. And also spend thousands of dollars on WWE champions.
The days of Street Fighter, I'm like, damn, I was an asshole to so many people. And that's fucking stupid.
I mean, I'm trying to pick out reasonably recent things as well. There's lots of things. But I'm trying to pick out reasonably recent things, because you go back in the past, yeah, okay, it's the past. But you're still doing it to this day, Phil. Okay, you haven't done extensive racist slurs as comedy and cut it into a best of in a few years. But you're still quite an offensive, gross character and some people might be offended at the fact that you are probably wearing your pajama bottoms that you've been wearing for the same 5 days, no shoes and socks. Some of you might be offended. It's like some people might feel like, I don't know, grossed out and offended are two different concepts, aren't they? But anyway, look.
And then I look at my early days as a YouTuber and I'm like, well, I wasn't trying to actively piss people off, but I can understand how it did over time, and that sucks. I never intended for that, right? Now I try to be a better person. So yeah, when you get older, you kind of, it's like they say hindsight is 20/20, but when you're in the moment of that,
they say hindsight is 20/20, do they? What does that mean? Now that I'm older, I realise I shouldn't have said racist slurs on the internet, so now I won't. Like, what do you mean?
that stuff happening, you don't realize it, right?
Sippy sip, nice bottle.
All I can say is everyone probably has things they're embarrassed at or ashamed of that they did in their
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't make a collection of my most racist gaming moments, yeah.
past. And as long as you just don't continue to make those same mistakes over and over and be that awful version of you, that's all you can do. Try to improve as you get older and wiser, right?
Mm-hmm. Twitching.
How much is it going to take me to get stoned on stream one night? Never. I'm not getting stoned on stream. I don't smoke weed. I'm never going to be smoking weed on stream, ever. Slayer says, I'm using my power armor. I got unlimited armor cores now. Oh, really? Power cores? And I get unlimited ammo to cruise through the game. So that's, man. So there you go.
Stop touching your nose, you fuck. What's wrong with your nose?
That's a free ride. Jared says,
Bit of a sniff there.
most of the chat lived through Modern Warfare 2 2009 lobbies. No need to defend yourself. Times have definitely changed.
I mean, that's an interesting point. You know, if you were in that group of people who was playing Call of Duty at that time in those lobbies, you would have heard a lot of, you know, horrible racism and people calling each other the F slur and all sorts of things. 14-year-olds dominating that environment with their, you know, choices. But like, you might not have all done that. So, and irrelevant to us to whether you did it or not, choosing to then, like, Phil wasn't 14. Like, he was a grown-up, and he did it, and he uploaded it to YouTube, so.
Have any interest in blockchain or Bitcoin? No, I don't have any money.
No, I don't have any money.
Changed. Do I have any interest in blockchain or Bitcoin? No, I don't have any money. Don't have time to worry about that shit. The Gamer says, how can people call you racist?
I love the way he just skipped through that. He's got a question about the racism coming up again. I want to go to bed really, but I'm into this all of a sudden. I didn't know this was happening. He's randomly doing a late night chit chat, and these are good streams when he does the late night chit chats. You get gold dust out of them. So
when two of your closest friends back in the day were Asian.
You're right. We haven't got a DSP emoji. You're right.
Don't have time to worry about that shit. At the Gamer says, how can people call you racist when two of your closest friends back in the day were Asian and African American? I grew up in a multicultural community. My next door neighbor was Irish. The one house down was the kid was from Puerto Rico.
Shut up, this dude.
The kid one street over was black, and
You weren't friends with any of them.
we were all friends.
Oh,
And
you
we would
were.
get
You
together
were friends.
and all play and hang out and have a good time.
Sorry, the stream that I'm watching on Dark Dave's Mirror does the little sound effects sometimes. So
We didn't
Because
care
right now,
what
I'm
race we
really,
were.
really-
My,
fair enough. You know, it's their stream.
my
that
elementary
situation
school
financially,
was
so all your
multicultural
kids
as
are
well.
going straight to Bill.
Most kids in my elementary school were not white. I was actually considered like almost a minority in my elementary school. It was a lot of again, black, Asian, Hispanic.
If you are in the minority, it does not mean you are considered a minority in modern America. Even though you, as a white person in a situation, might be in the minority, you are not an ethnic minority. Phil likes to tell you that he is mainly Italian, if anything, part Italian. He likes to lean on that because that's a romantic ethnicity that is positively looked upon in culture in America. But if he were to also tell you, and there's nothing wrong with being Polish, there's nothing wrong with being Jewish, not in my opinion. I've used to have a Polish girlfriend, Also, I'm not going to tell you what I did with this Jewish girl, but anyway, look, the point is for Phil and his internal struggle. I think if he were to come on the internet and say, my dad is Polish, Jewish, family history, whatever, then he would not like to say that on the internet because of his own racism. So he leans heavily on like a bit of Italian, but we all know it's not entirely true.
Kids in my elementary school, and I basically we didn't see it that way because we were
Because you were children, you weren't a racist.
all different colors right from the get-go.
We were all different colours right from the get-go. Like everyone, it's like a fucking, ice cream factory with all the different flavours at my primary school. So I didn't know anything about it. It was like Star Wars. It was like going into the in Star Wars where they go into that when they go into the, it was like that.
So we were already mixed in and integrated together, and we didn't see each other as different because of that. And that's a good
So at what point did you become a racist then?
thing because I don't think that way in my life. I just don't see someone
You don't see colour.
for their race or their
Listen. This is not true. A black person can come on the screen and Phil will simply, like, in the past he has made jokes that literally are like to the level of, I wonder what, I expect they like their coffee black because they're a black person. Like, I expect they like their coffee black. That's a literal thing he said. Chinese person comes on the screen. Would you like some pork fried rice? Chicky chang wang, ding dong die. Like, that's all you see. A black girl came on the screen once and he said, oh, she might take your backpack. Like, because she's black, she might be a thief. And he said blackpack instead of backpack by mistake. Like, it's all
ethnicity at all.
I should really get the clips and edit them in, but I can't be asked. Like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning in my world, but
I never even think that in my head at once.
oh, come on, Phil.
If it's brought up by someone, then I kind of, oh yeah, that's right. I don't even think about it. Then,
If it's brought up by someone else, oh yeah, that's right. I notice now that the person you're talking about is in fact of a different ethnic background to me, but only because you pointed it out. Until then, I couldn't see it. I mean, that's not legit, is it? Like, if you're talking to somebody from Mexican heritage, like, in modern America, the different like cultural divides that are out there, it's like a political thing as well. Like, if someone's black, you can see with your eyes. You don't have to pretend they're not in your eye. Couldn't even tell you were black. Until you mentioned it, I didn't even see that you were black. How about that? No, I could see that you were black. It's fine. Like, it's not a problem to me. It's not an issue that you're black. Like, do you know what I mean? But for Phil, it's like he's got to this level of like having to socially prove he's not a racist by being like the world's most he's so not racist, he couldn't even tell, he couldn't even see the colour of your skin. Well, what are people like? Why am I even bothering having a wash and putting on a t-shirt? You can't even see me. The world is just like a collection of shadows to feel. Everyone is the same sort of amorphous blob, just shadow figures. Like, what is he seeing in his head? What is he seeing? How is he judging people on aesthetics, like, in any way? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe that's why he's married to Kat. Maybe that's what he is seeing. Anyway, look.
And you're right. Like, my best friend when I was growing up, he was Asian.
No, you didn't have a best friend.
And we were friends playing video games together.
Okay.
And then my best friend when I was
Wait, hang on. What do you mean he was Asian? A second ago, you didn't see color. It was of no concern to you. So how does this standout feature of your best friend? He was Asian.
A teenager. He was my rival.
No particular denomination of Asian. Not just an Asian. One of the Asian types. Not like he was from Vietnam or like he was Asian. So.
Rival in arcades, T. Carter. He was black.
T. Carter was black. You left him, right? T. Carter was black. What Phil did with T. Carter, I can't believe he's brought him up. T. Carter was his friend. They used to go to the arcades together. In fact, he looked up to him. T. Carter was older than him, and Phil looked up to him. Used to go to the arcades together. T. Carter needed a lift home in the car. Phil decided to just leave him there, and T. Carter got shot dead. So if he hadn't had to walk the mean streets because Phil left him there, then he'd still be alive to this day. Effectively, Phil murdered T. Carter. And he shouldn't speak his name like this.
A teenager. He was my rival in arcades, T. Carter. He was black. Yes, my friends in high school were white, admittedly. That one friend group that I had. But then immediately, again, when I went...
What do you mean, admittedly? Admittedly, I've got a friendship group of white friends. So, look, that goes against me on the racist scale, I know. But don't be stupid. You're allowed to have white friends and not be racist. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't have to ingratiate yourself in like a African dance group or something. Like, you can just be yourself and still not be racist. You can not be from like. Admittedly, I spend a lot of time with white people. Admittedly, what do you mean? Admittedly, that goes against me on the checks and balances of am I a racist? I did spend a lot of time with white people in high school, so. I'm loving this. I'm glad that we stumbled into this.
Admittedly.
You are a racist because you say racist things and you think racist things and you say racist things, and we know you're a fucking racist. Just accept it and just live it, Phil. I'd respect you more, to be honest. I wouldn't like it, but I'd respect it more. What was the last one he did? The last most recent one, and we're talking in recent time, we're talking like a year ago, maybe a bit longer. He said he was playing a game, there was a black girl in the game. Okay, there was a feature of the game, like one of the characters was a bad sheriff or something, and Phil, in his voice, went, in the bad sheriff's voice, went, "Pack her up, guys, we're going to sell her into the slave trade." And like, obviously he made a slave trade joke about her because she was black. Like, he wasn't talking about just generally selling kids into slave trade. She was a little black girl, and the joke was, we'll sell her as a slave. Like, it's in his brain. Just because he doesn't say it anymore. He does sometimes say it.
Yes, my friends in high school were white.
Like, this is so fucking cool. Yes, my friends in high school were white. A little face. What am I going to do about that? I'm not trying to hide it. I've been friends with white people, so I'm going to come clean here and admit it. I've decided to admit it. My friends in high school, they were white. Like, if you're not racist, you probably don't say things like that, do you? Like, if you're not trying to hide your racism, like, you probably don't end up saying things like this. Well, yes, my friends, they were. The amount of times I've played the Darksydephil racist clips on the show, so I'm not going to do that now because I'm focused on this. But like, maybe I should, like I said, like, just for people who haven't seen them. But we'll do it another time. Trust me, he said all the racist things. And also, I agreed with Stick With Your Dig, though, not in like horrible ways, right? Like, he hasn't gone out there and gone, oh, you fucking black people, this and that, you know, like, and done all the black slurs like that. But he's like, he's used the N word like as a joke, like, because someone did Schwarzenegger, and someone put a tip, Phil's and, you know, and he read it out, Phil's and he laughed about, haha, Phil's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, Phil's and like, you know, it's funny because it's the word and it's this, like, so being flippant and blasé about it. And yeah, back in the day, the Call of Duty lobbies, you know, you'd all call each other the bad names, Call of Duty lobbies and that, wouldn't they? I didn't play a lot of Call of Duty, so I don't know. I mean, I do know because I didn't play it because every 14-year-old on the internet's giving everyone every load of racist shit. But yeah, you know, that's back in the day. But his content, like I said, the feature of here is a person from another ethnicity or something like that, and we're just going to pick on that as the, like, ha ha ha, Chinese fried rice. Like, that's not acceptable. It never has been. And I laugh at it because it's so incredible to do. It's like if you went to a Chinese restaurant and your friend said to the waiter, oh, hello, you have good Chinese fried rice today. I buy Chinese fried rice. Like, you'd be horrified by what your friend was doing. But in some ways, like, there's a sort of, oh my God, sort of like you'd step back and you'd sort of laugh at, like, it's almost like Anchorman level of ignorance. Like, you laugh at Ron Burgundy for being fucking stupid, don't you? He's a misogynist, but you laugh at his misogyny because that's the joke, is he's a stupid misogynist. So with Phil, I've laughed at the things because, oh my God. So I don't think he understands that we think it's hilarious, well, not hilarious, but you know what I mean? In that way, like, we oh my God, like, yes, like, you have been a huge racist. Maybe I'm just going to do a little bit of it now. I said I wasn't going to do, but I will just quickly because what the hell. DSP, most racist. Just a quick. He's done Hello Jew. He's done Hello Jew, which is, hang on. Why am I getting the one that I want to see? There's usually one that comes up at the top, but maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's probably this one, yeah. Like, he's just a fucking nightmare.
Hello. Hello to you.
What race I was. There you go. I was authentic. I'm Chinese.
And it should not be, you know, ever be practiced.
Fried rice. I don't like Asian chicks. Oh wait, I'm Chinese. Forgot what race I was. There you go. I was authentic. The authentic Chinese celebration dance. The epic. Oh! What the hell? Are you kidding me? The epic adventures of Ding Dong Wong. No, you killed Ding Dong. How dare you kill Ding Dong Wong?
No, he's messing about playing video games, isn't he? But, like, the racism just, it's constant, and it says constant, consistent. This is a clip show of him doing it, but, like, it was a feature, a consistent feature of, like, his personality.
Same gang, so we wear the same baseball cap. Oh, he knows that. You have Intel does. Oh, would you like to give me some cocaine? Please give me cocaine. Hello.
I want to show you Hello Jew as well. Like, again, like, this got him banned off Blip TV before YouTube. This was before YouTube existed. He was banned off Blip TV. Like, in a way, it's, like, kind of funny because he's doing it. But in another way, it's like, I can't believe you've done this on the internet, so I'm laughing at you, not with you, bear in mind. So I will be laughing, but, like, fucking hell. Like, it's one thing to do this having fun with your mates as well, isn't it? Like, being an ignorant teenager. But it's quite another to be in your 20s, approaching your 30s, and upload it to the internet.
This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You've let the Jews overrun space, and now look at this. Their greed has had the artifact turn everyone into necromorphs. So now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello, Jew. I killed him with one shot. Damn.
Hello, Jew. And, like, he proceeds to play the game, you know, pretending to be a space Nazi, killing. It's aliens he's killing in the game, but he pretends that they're Jews. So that's bad. I mean, that was one of his earliest racisms. But yeah, like, you know, it's not a Nazi hat. He wears that hat sometimes. It's not a Nazi hat, but it looks a bit like one. So And he's look. That's enough of that. Let's go back to this.
Admittedly, that one friend group that I had.
Okay, he's quite bad. I mean, that to his credit, and I'll give him this a little bit. That was his oldest offence. Hello, Jew. It was his oldest one. That's like before YouTube. So, but getting banned from hateful slurs off Twitch, like the longevity of it, he's still, and he says it pops up in his mind. If you're going to be like that, like when you're a teenager, I get it. Like calling people like slurs and F-bombs and N-words or whatever, like stupid teenager. You can say, okay, fair enough, that was you when you were a kid. Give you the break. You're grown up on the internet now. I wouldn't have been doing that myself. I wouldn't have been saying the N-word to people when I was a teenager. Life was different when I was younger, though. I think people did call each other, like, I mean, I'm saying the F word. In England, we smoke fags. Like, so it's maybe the word is used more, but like, saying fag in America is quite a bad slur. In England, it's also a term used in boarding schools, like younger people fag for the sixth formers, which means they have to get their books and do stupid things. And, there's different terminologies in different cultures, isn't there? But, calling someone that name was pretty common at school when I was 14, but I wouldn't take that one into the workplace when I was an adult, do you know what I mean? Like, it was something that was like cultural of a time, and also being immature and stupid, but like younger teenagers. But Phil's claiming that, like, when I was younger and I was being immature and all this, but he was a 20-year-old something. Like, you can't claim that ground of immaturity. Therefore, a bit of forgiveness. I've learned and I've grown. Like, when you were a grown up, in your like that, the slave trade one. He's approaching 40. Like, at what point does it change? Like.
But then immediately, again, when I went into competitive Street Fighter, like, seriously, if I think about my friend group, most of my friends were Asian.
And he's done these, like, at that time, the Street Fighter competitive friend group, he's done a podcast or two. ALT from, that being said, there's WPIG, and he does the Densey Scrolls, and they've gone back and listened to it with Steve of the Dead. They were all measuring their penises with... basically, they're all measuring their penises, and he said on the phone call, these other guys are black, so they should have bigger penises than me. And like, that's okay, it's just a little joke, but like, at this time, yes, he had black friends, but he was saying openly racist things to them in public. I don't think he understands that just like because there are black people in the social group, like, that doesn't mean you're not racist. It means that you are able to coexist and, like, get along with them. But if you're thinking like that you are superior, or that they are smelly, or that they, and like, if you're thinking like that, he doesn't see it. Remember, he simply doesn't see color in that way. But also, maybe some people can, this is a weird facet of racism, is you can be a massive racist, but because you like Street Fighter, you will play with the black guys and the Asian guys, and they're all Street Fighter guys. But, when it gets to the standing in the line for your McDonald's, like, you're not very happy about the black people or something like that, innate inside you. Like, you can let off people in your social circle a bit, even though they're of the wrong, in inverted commas, if you're a racist, race. Like, they do that all the time, racists do. They've got, like, funny rules about it because it's just a fucking stupid thing that they've invented in their mind to be stupid about. And really, people are quite nice when you get to know them. So individual cases, they will not be racist about sometimes. I don't like generally this race, but this guy who's my neighbour or whatever, he's quite a nice guy, I don't mind that. But generally, these people, I don't like them. So there's all that problem as well. And I think Phil falls under that category quite a lot, which is that if he's come into close proximity with you over his life, and like, he's not a very friendly guy, and he's not a very affable guy, and he's a narcissist, but like, he's probably found that people who he was prejudiced against, he doesn't need to be prejudiced against. But in the general sense in society, and the way he thinks about the world and makes jokes about it, you see that he is probably quite, maybe a feature of the narcissist, but, maybe he feels like better than everyone, but, white privilege pervades his inner consciousness, and it just comes through, doesn't it? So
Some were black, some were white. I'd say that core group during that era when I was traveling and playing competitive Street Fighter before I met John Rambo, like, two of my closest friends, one was Puerto Rican and one was black. And we were going around playing fighting games together, going to tournaments and stuff. So I didn't give a shit. I literally could not care.
I didn't give a shit. Again, like, okay, I get it. You didn't, like, what shit should you have given? Like, this is, again, it's like, you sound like you're saying something that's not racist, but when you dig into it, actually it's kind of racist. Like, what shit should you have given? I didn't give a shit. Well, of course you didn't. Why would anyone say you should have? Oh, well, because racists would have given a shit. Yeah, but like, I was, one of them was Puerto Rican, and I didn't give a shit. You know, it's just like, I'm sorry, what? It's just like there's a subtext to the way he speaks, isn't it? Like, one of them was Puerto Rican, I didn't give a shit. One of my best friends is in a wheelchair. You know, it's like that sort of level of being not racist or not prejudiced, but in a prejudiced sort of way, isn't it? And like, we joke about it when we say that, like, you know, I'm not racist, one of my best friends is black. You know, people say that as a joke, but he's literally saying it now, like, as a serious reason why he's not a racist. So you see what I mean? Like, I think, I don't know, like, this doesn't look good for Phil.
Friends, one was Puerto Rican and one was black, and we were going around playing fighting games together.
Was one of them a woman as well? Because
going to tournaments and stuff. So I didn't give a shit. I literally could not care. I'm probably the person who on this planet least cares about someone's race. It's just,
in that situation, Phil had not been able to associate himself with any friendship group throughout high school. He was one of the reject outcast people. He said this himself. You know, he had no social group at all, and finding the Street Fighter community was for the first time acceptance into a group. So he literally did not give a shit. And in the same way, he treats his chat like this to this day. This is a really core point. The other day he said, I'm glad that I'm down here on level 1 with you. I don't mind being down here on level 1 with you, talking to his chat. And I think he thinks that the reject group is all right. You know, he okay, I don't give a shit, I'll be in the reject group. But they're still rejects to you, Phil, in your mind. You've been rejected, you think you're better than, you shouldn't be in the reject group. So these are the rejects, and you're like king reject, but you don't mind being in the rejects because you're not a racist, you're not a bad person, you're happy to be with these people. But the reason that you are a racist and a bad person is because you see them as a group of misfits and rejects that you are having to become part of because you've been rejected. Like, you don't understand it. Like, this is fucked.
I'm probably the person who on this planet least cares about someone's race. It's just, it's not a concern. To me, everyone can be a great person and everyone could be a fucking asshole, right? Like, the skin color, the background, the ethnicity has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the individual choices of the person to be a certain kind of person. And it has nothing to do with...
I feel like Steve of the Dead, if he's ever watching this, might be like, insert clip here. I feel like loads of detractors will have a favourite clip to insert here as like an example of Phil doing exactly the opposite of what he's saying now. But again, I'm rolling on till 5:20 in the morning now. I'm being stupid, so I'm just going to let it roll a bit longer until he stops talking about this fucking topic and I can cut this for YouTube.
With, you know, anything like that. Because I've known white people who were absolutely horrendous, terrible fucking people who I would never want to speak to ever again because they were so vile. But I've also known really nice white people. And I know that for every group, you know? It's the...
God, I was going to say, please say that about black people now. Please say I've known black people who are really... You know, please say it, because I think it would be really funny coming out of your mouth as a sort of juxtaposition to what you just said. Because that's the setup. That's what you just sort of said, is I've known white people that are really bad and horrible, and some nice ones. And, yeah, I've known all sorts of people, so...
Same for everyone. Everyone has that capacity to make choices in their life and be different. It has nothing to do with judging people at that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's what people say. Like, that's the... Like, it's like he knows the theory. It's like he knows the theory. Like, it's like a driving test thing. It's like he's passed the theory test and he can say that back to you. But when he gets in the car, he fucking crashes it. So what are we going to do about that, Phil?
Oh, let's see here.
Oh, we've moved on. Great. Racism, racism not confirmed. Racism denied. Let's move on. I've explained it. Look, everyone's the same. Everyone's like, doesn't matter about the colour of your skin. Everyone's the same. Right, racism sorted. Racism fixed. Racism solved. Move on.
I got $1.50 tip.
I got a $1.50 tip.
Opinions on New Jersey. I feel like it's the perfect mix of city, beach, and mountains. I have no idea. I never spent much time in New Jersey. I only went through it a few times to travel to tournaments and stuff when I lived on the East Coast. Never really spent a significant amount of time there, so I cannot really comment on it.
It's $1.50.
Except for Newark. All right? This is no exaggeration. When I was growing up in the 2000s, I would frequently drive through Newark, New Jersey on the highway.
Where did this come from?
To get through that state to go to Street Fighter tournaments. For some reason, Newark smells like a rotten egg. I don't know what's up with that, but every single time you drive through Newark, New Jersey on that highway, it smells like a rotten egg. You open your window, you'll be grossed out. I don't know what the hell's going on with Newark, New Jersey. That's just a fact. And
this man is not offensive. He doesn't offend people or say things offensive on the internet. Racism aside, the man is just not offensive. I don't know where anyone would get that impression. Obviously, if you live in Newark.
Observation I had. That's not me being like prejudiced or nothing against Newark. I know nothing, no one from Newark. That place just smells awful. I don't get it. How do you live in a place like that? It smells like that. Like, what the hell happened? I don't get it. Is there an ongoing sulfur fire in Newark that no one can stop and it just uncontrollably makes this stink in the air? Like, what is that shit? It's so bizarre. And how did no one do anything about it or say anything? Like, that's Newark. Just let them burn, right? It's like saying, oh, that's Silent Hill over there. We just don't go over there. Those people are a little weird. They walk around with knives and fucking weird, you know, mutations. It's fine. Just ignore them.
Well, that's going well. Twitchy face. El Twitcho. That's going well. Okay, so I'm going to cut that for YouTube regardless of what he says next. So you be good, and if you can't be good, you're naughty for YouTube. Yeah? You be good. If you can't be good, you're naughty. I can't believe it's now 5:30 in the morning. I don't know why I do this, but I really wanted to do that. That was fun. I do want to see what he's going to say next. I can't help it. It's an addiction.
Armpit of the U.S.? That's messed up. That's messed up, man. Do I ever get sick of playing games for work? No, not really. Because the good thing is I'm a variety content creator. I keep explaining this to people. That I'm a variety dude.
Right, no, I can't hear him talk about that anymore. No variety dude. No. No variety dude. I should have shouted out Dark Days Mirror. I probably did when I was talking, didn't I? Hopefully, because that's who I was watching. Can you be naughty? It's time for bed, basically. I've stupid up my life. Tomorrow's Sunday, so I can deal with it. But you know, going to bed at 5:30 in the morning is stupid. I'll probably get up at like 2 in the afternoon. It's not that bad, but it's not ideal, is it? I probably won't sleep now that well because I've had an exciting night watching the boxing. I don't drink, so I'm not all drunk and time for beddy. I was all hyped at the end of the boxing, but quiet because it's no nights. And then you go to bed at 9 a.m. I wouldn't be able to sleep straight away because it's night. Well, it's daytime now here as well. What was I saying? Yeah, we had a good chat, and then this Phil thing. I didn't realise he was doing a cope cast. It's a problem with detracting Phil is that if he does that on the evening session in America, because I see the time in America there at the bottom currently is 9:30 in the evening. Like for me here, it's 5 in the morning, isn't it? So it's hard to detract Phil if he's going to do that in the evening sessions for me. But I just happen to be, you know, here for this one. So he's made $100 here now. He's wearing the hat. He's made $100 doing this.
When there's people playing the game and they lose control and the controller flies at you and you pick up the giant, oversized, stupid-ass controller with a screen and you deflect the controller like a projectile, you say, you knock it back at them.
That's clown mode because he's got $100. So now the money buff has been activated and he's jerking about.
What do I think of toy reviewers? I have literally never seen a toy reviewer, so I have no comment on them Game Boy. I don't know anything about them.
I love it when someone asks him a question and he gets the one-line answer. I do not know and I do not care. The end. Thank you. Why did you read the question out? Like, why did you read that question out if your answer is I don't care?
UII, so it doesn't even make sense. That's such a lame justification of the name. Is this an extra long stream? No, this is about the time as long as a normal stream would be at night. We're gonna adjourn in just a few minutes here. Adjourn.
After he had his hearing for his bankruptcy, they said they were going to adjourn, and he liked the word, so he starts using it for his streams. Yeah, big ups. All right, it is time for the nights. 5:30. I gave you extra hours tonight, you chuffers, which means difficult hours tomorrow for Ben. Well, it's only Genshin Impact it's going to eat into, but I like Genshin Impact. That's what's on the cards for tomorrow. Genshin Impact. So, you be good, and if you can't be good, you're naughty. I'm going no nights. Daytime, day nights.